Hey y'all, Cecile here. I'm trying to get my thing so I can read my opening and I just totally messed it up. Hey y'all, welcome to Playing with Possibilities. I am Cecile and I am live today with my friend Christine and missing my friend Ade. Ade, if you're out there, hello.
I think he said
Together,
next week he's back. Yep.
I hope he's back next week. He did say. All right, together we talk about everything from spirituality to social justice, being human, and connecting with our ancestors, how the things we do create our reality, and how we can intentionally create our collective reality together. My name is Cecile Armstrong. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a Black woman and a self care and social justice facilitator streaming to you live from the unceded land of the Kicquetan, colonized as Newport News, Virginia. I'm also an Amazon best-selling author with Christine and some other fantastic women colleagues. I'm the founder of Inspired by Indigo, an online membership community. And hold on, because I want to get my banner going across here. Yes, okay, it's actually working for me today. All right. So, I am the founder of Inspired by Indigo, an online membership community where I guide folks to make equity a habit with self care and joy. Every month, we go through the 4 steps together for support and to create a habit of undoing what we've lived and learned about race, privilege, and equality. And those 4 steps that you can see scrolling at the bottom are self care, because healing is a form of protest. Getting into your body and acknowledging your emotions makes space for you to rest and to handle the rest of your life. Every month, I introduce a new self care technique for members to try, and we try it out in community. Number 2, know your facts. This can be so hard with all the misinformation out there, but in the membership, I do the work and provide it to you with documentation every month in the second week of the month. And then we can discuss it at my monthly Ask Me Anything events. Number 3 is to undo the work. That's taking what you've learned and doing something out in the world to make a difference. And then number 4 is to rest and celebrate. Rest and rejoice. Give your body, your mind, and your soul a chance to recover from getting out of your comfort zone and doing something different, and then acknowledging your wins, even if the only thing that went right is that you tried. To find out more, you can check the links that are in the description. And if you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, please follow. If you're on YouTube, please hit subscribe and then click the bell to get notifications for when we go live. All right, my friend, you want
Good
to introduce
morning. Good
yourself to the group?
morning. Good morning. Yes. Hi, y'all. I'm Christine Gautreaux, a white social justice advocate, an international speaker, coach, and published best-selling Amazon author a couple of times, and a dancing social worker who is the co-host and co-founder of the Women Connected in Wisdom podcast and community, where we support folks in getting rooted in the 8 dimensions of wellness. And, I'm a big believer in our focusing on our self-care so we can sustain and thrive in our community care,
Mhm.
because we don't have to do this by ourselves. And
Oh,
yeah, so grateful to be here with you today, my friend. And when I saw the topic, I laughed. Especially after the weekend I just had. So I was like, woo, let's talk about
okay.
it. Let's
All
talk
right.
about
Well,
it.
before we talk about it, let's take a breath.
Let's
Okay,
do it.
let's take a breath and get in our body. So if you're watching the live or the replay, I'm asking you to sit up straight with your head over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips, because you want to give
Mm.
your belly room to expand. Check in with your jaw, see if you're carrying any tension around there. Check in with your shoulders. If they are up around your ears, let them come down. Or you can do the what's that dance? What do you and Shannon call the dance? The shoulder something?
Oh, the Women Connected in Wisdom Zoom shoulder move.
Yeah.
It's our Zoom dance move.
And then relax your belly. If you're holding it in, holding your breath tight, or if you're trying to hold it in because somebody's looking, just act like they're not. Just let it hang out. Whew, and then close your eyes and take in a deep belly breath. And then when you're ready, you can exhale. And let's do one more. And this time, I really want you to notice if you are breathing through your belly or breathing through your chest, because it does make a difference. Relax your tummy and breathe through your belly. And exhale when you're ready. All right. So today our topic, we are focused on emotional and mental and emotional wellness today, and our topic is about not judging yourself. And the reason I chose this for today is because I noticed that I have been judging the heck out of myself for the last week or so. I just can't seem to do anything right for myself, and even when I'm trying, if something goes wrong, it's like, oh, I just act like it's my fault, and I caught myself and was like, "Wait a minute, what are you doing?" And I know I'm not the only one that does this. So I was like, "Okay, let's make it a topic." Um,
Right?
and the thing that I was thinking about, I was actually thinking about our friend, Dr. Cynthia Phelps. And she is she's the first author in the book, Women Connected in Wisdom. And when I read her part when she was talking about how negative self-talk actually gets in the way of us doing things in our performance, and how if we can have self-compassion, that it's actually proven to improve, not only the way we think, but our ability to perform. It
To
has
be
like,
productive, to
yes.
be all of it.
Yeah, and so when I was reading what she was saying, I was like, "Wait a minute, there's actually scientific evidence that being nicer to yourself is not just, like, makes you feel good, but actually helps you with your life." And, anyway, so when I caught myself talking mean to myself, talking bad about myself in my head and not cut myself any slack, I thought about her, and then I thought about, the being non-judgmental and how I have so much more compassion for other people, most of the time, and I had to put that in there, most of the time. And then I was like, "Okay, let's just make this a topic and let's just talk about it. Let's play with the possibility of self-compassion
Mhm.
and being non-judgmental towards yourself." So what do you think?
I think it's huge. I think it's really important that we check in with ourselves and our inner ally and our inner voice. Inner ally
Mhm,
is Dr. Phelps' work. And,
mhm,
she was one of the authors in the book and is a good friend of mine. And it's very fascinating. I was just having this conversation with her last week because I originally thought my inner voice was really kind to myself because it
mm,
wasn't as mean and nasty as some other people's inner voices. Like some people
mhm,
go, "Oh, I'm hard on myself all the time." But mine's really subtle. And it's
mm,
that judgment thing, right? Oh, you
mhm,
could have done that better. Or, oh, that wasn't perfect. Or, oh,
mhm,
it's not like I'm calling myself names or being mean or,
mhm,
but I'm being pretty strict in judging, um, "Oh, you should have got more sleep this weekend." Like, we were camping this weekend and
mhm,
definitely did not get enough sleep, and I'm really moving slow this morning, and,
mhm,
you know, that there's some places I could go with that, right? "Oh, you
mhm.
should've," or I
Oh
catch
gosh, the
myself when I hear
shoulds.
the
Mm,
should. When I hear the
mhm,
should, it's like, stop, be
mhm,
gentle with it." I say this to my
mhm,
friends and a lot of my coaching clients is, "Be
mhm,
gentle with yourself," right?
mhm,
And I have started to say that to myself. Be
mhm,
gentle with yourself.
mhm,
Because we're all really just doing the best we can,
mhm.
right? Now,
Yeah.
can we can get support,
Yes.
we can get help, we can get coaching, we can hire
Mhm.
people, we can have friends, and be gentle with yourself. Like we
Right.
are everybody I know is holding a lot. They're
Mhm,
holding a lot through this pandemic, through work, owning their businesses,
mhm,
family. A lot of people our age are taking care of parents and
mhm,
family members at the same time that they're doing all of
mhm.
like,
Well, this is the thing that I've noticed with myself and other people, that it's so easy to just get bogged down in everything that you do and just think, "Well, this is what it is. This is normal, and I
right?
just need to move past this." And I know you call me out, several times going, "Wait a minute. Look at everything else that you're holding, and why do you think that it's okay to just pile more on yourself?" You know?
Right?
So, it's so easy to just kinda be in it long enough that it just becomes normalized, and you're just like, if you don't stop and reevaluate where you are, um, then you just think it's okay.
Right?
Mhm,
Yeah. Well, and also not just reevaluating where we are, but also looking at what has changed, right?
mhm,
Because I think the other reason I catch myself judging myself a lot is I don't look at all the factors, right?
Mhm.
Like, okay, yes, and
Mhm.
this like and it doesn't mean to always cut ourselves slack or but or
It's
maybe
not about
it
making
does.
excuses.
It's
It's
not
not about
about
making
yeah.
excuses, but I do think cutting yourself slack
It
is
absolutely,
passionate.
and having compassion, right? Having
Mhm.
compassion,
Mhm.
and there are times, I mean, I'm just gonna speak for myself, but there are times I coulda done it better, right?
Mhm.
And that's not being
Mhm.
too hard on myself. And I don't have to judge myself. I can be discerning and say,
Mhm.
"Oh, take the emotion." Okay, I think this is what's coming up for me, Cecile,
Mhm.
is taking the emotion out of it. Because
Mhm.
sometimes when I'm judging myself, I am judging myself as lacking, or you're
Mhm.
not good enough, or you're not. Whereas if I take the emotion out of it, and it's like
Mhm.
looking at this, like, okay, could I've done a better job on that launch?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
These are the things that went really right. And these
Mhm.
are the things I could have done better. And
Mhm.
I think the only reason I say that, because I know as business owners and especially solopreneurs and entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
we can always do things better. I
Well,
mean,
I think
I
just
think
people in general can
life,
always do
right?
things better, right?
And we don't have to
But it
judge
doesn't mean
ourselves
you have to beat
harshly for
yourself
that.
up, right? You
Right?
don't have to
We
beat
don't
yourself up for not getting it
absolutely.
100% right every time.
And,
That's part
in
of
an
being human.
interplay, a part of being human, and, also our philosophy in interplay is we look for the good.
Mhm.
So the other part about looking for the good, like what went right, and start with that. Like what
Right.
went really right, like we do on Manifesting Mondays. Like we
Mhm.
start with celebrating what went right last week.
Mhm.
And then we hold ourselves accountable for, okay, what do we want to do this week? Or what could, we
Mhm.
start looking at, okay, what is there in addition? Because there's
Mhm.
always an addition, right?
Right.
But the
Mhm.
start with the look for the good and what
Mhm.
went really right. Like,
Mhm.
yes, I needed
Mhm.
more sleep from this weekend. But what went really right? I
Mhm.
took 4 days and I got off my phone and I
That's awesome.
interacted with amazing humans and I
Mhm.
slept outside and I interacted with nature and art and, you know, and was it restful? Not in the like, I didn't feel, I'm not feeling like, but was it rejuvenating?
Mhm.
Yes. Like,
Mhm.
and that's the other thing I think we've talked about before on here, the different kinds of
Right.
rest that you
Right.
need,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. I actually took 2 days this weekend, Friday and Saturday, and didn't do hardly any. I say hardly any. I don't know that I didn't do any, but I did hardly any work, and I walked and I got outside, and that was a lot for me to just, like, not
It's
work.
huge as
Mhm.
entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, and we also I wanna support you in that, and I wanna support each of us in that because we
Mhm.
work too much.
Mhm.
And most people listening
Oh,
to this
I'm a
that are
recovering workaholic.
I
I came up in the nonprofit system where you were expected to put in a whole lot of hours even though you weren't getting paid overtime. You
mhm,
know, oh my gosh,
me too,
that's just that's where I started my work,
me too.
and I have spent years, even though I've been away from nonprofits for a while now, but I have spent years trying to undo that and retrain
Right?
myself that I don't have to work all the time.
Right? And not judge ourselves for it, right?
Right. Mhm.
I grew up in a family, I mean, this started young, but yes, to the nonprofit world, but I grew up in a family of farmers, and
Mhm.
if you were sitting still, you got assigned a task. So that even the sitting still and taking a moment to breathe, like, I had a lot of work to undo before I could get to that,
Mhm.
and I think checking in with ourselves about what is our judgment on ourselves and what is judgment that came from our family of
Mhm.
origins
Right.
or the dominant culture or like
Mhm.
unraveling that to really believe, okay, where is this coming from? Because I think
Mhm.
sometimes it's so unconscious
Mhm.
and it is like, okay, what what do I believe or what was I, do I still
Right.
believe
Right.
in like why is this happening?
Mhm.
So I have this about my house all the time, right? Like, and I had to get over myself because I had a voice in my head for years that,
Mhm.
I couldn't invite people over because my house wasn't perfect or
Mhm.
it didn't look a certain way or it
Mhm.
didn't, and
Mhm.
I still have to catch myself on that sometimes, right?
Mm. Yeah.
And I live with 3 other people, artists, activists, like, and we don't wanna live a perfect life. Like, we wanna
Right.
live a fully authentic human life. Well,
Mhm.
okay, and we have animals, and I mean, you've been to my house, right? I
Uh-huh.
mean,
Yep.
and I mean, we live in our house,
Right.
and
I
I
definitely have always said
yeah,
I'd rather have a house that looks lived in because I'm actually using it than something that I keep pristine.
right?
I got
And
too many things I wanna do to keep a perfect house.
right. I mean, I love when my house is clean, and I'm doing a better
Mhm,
job than ever about it, and there's not enough hours in the day to do
mhm.
everything we want to do,
Oh,
and that's
definitely
part
not.
of it, right?
Mhm,
And if we I mean, and there's so many things we could judge ourselves on, right? How many
mhm.
steps we got today? Did we do our
Oh
steps
my
every
goodness.
day? How
Right.
much sugar did we put in our mouth? Like, I mean, and some of
Mhm,
it we have to really look at for health reasons, right?
mhm,
And if we take the emotion out of it, just like we were saying earlier,
mhm,
and thinking about this time thing, like if we do everything, it's not
mhm.
possible. It's
It's
not
not.
possible.
It's not, and this kinda ties in with my blog post from a couple weeks ago when I was talking about adjusting with the seasons and,
Yes.
trying to figure out, are you trying to keep the same expectations for yourself that you had during the summer even though you feel
Ooh,
different in the winter?
right?
And the blog post I've got coming up this week, takes that a step further, talking a little bit about ways to, prepare for,
Okay.
the coming darkness and the cold and all that kinda stuff, especially for people who have seasonal affective disorder, and, I actually list some things that have worked for me in the past few years.
Okay.
And it's covering several dimensions of wellness, it's not just physical, it's also
Right.
emotional and mental, and it's social, and it's all of those things wrapped up together. And so rather than waiting until, you start feeling bad or anticipating and being anxious about feeling bad and already beating yourself up because you know this is what happens to you in the winter, what kind of proactive steps can you take to, like, lessen that?
I love that you said that because what I need to do, even you saying that, is make sure I'm taking, is it the vitamin E or the D? Which is
Vitamin
the
D.
one? Thank you, vitamin D.
That's one of the things on
Because
my list. It was like, go to your
right?
doctor, get your levels checked, and then get a prescription so you know which kind of vitamin D is gonna work for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I live in Georgia now, and so I grew up in Texas, so it was a non-issue for me. And I
Mhm,
thought it was a non-issue coming from Georgia, but northern Georgia is actually on that cusp of not
mhm,
getting enough sun. And
mhm,
so my levels dropped down, and I was like, what is going on with me? And
mhm.
so I kind of forget until I get like deep into, and I was like, so thank you for saying that out loud.
Oh, you're
Right? That's
welcome.
one of the things that it's like, "Okay, yeah, I mean, this fixes it. If I take my vitamin D, I'm in good shape."
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that's the other part too, as we talk about on Women Connect and Wisdom, we don't have to do it by ourselves, right?
No. No, if
And
you
I
try to
think
do it by yourself, then everybody's doing 100% of the work. If you do it in community, then everybody's doing a little piece, but you all get 100% of the benefit.
right?
So, yeah.
Yeah. And what's our piece, right?
Right. What
Figuring
is your
that part
piece?
out.
Mhm.
What is our
That's what I
piece?
used to talk to people about all the time in my community work is,
Mhm,
if we all pitch in and everybody focuses on what they're good at and we make sure that all the pieces are covered,
mhm.
then it's not like you have to do everything yourself.
Speaking of our piece, this is a total left turn, but I think you'll be okay with that.
Okay.
Early voting started in Georgia today. I know
Okay.
you've already early voted,
Mhm.
right?
I've already early voted.
So, I just wanna
I'm
put
glad you
that
brought
out
this up
there
because I wanted
to
to bring it up too.
all our listeners, y'all, it's that time. Do your part, do
Mhm.
your piece, and,
Yeah.
let's get this early voting done and see if
Yeah.
we can take 3 or 4 people, like, who else needs a ride to the polls or who needs to be reminded or a plan,
Who needs to
um,
check their voter registration status. I'm
right?
actually gonna go had planned on, going live in Meditations for Persistence to start reminding
Mhm.
people and to talk about the states that are in play right now and which ones have, like,
Absolutely.
the closest
Let's do
polling,
it.
and to remind people that, polling isn't everything, so don't
That's
believe
right.
the polls. You
No.
might see them, but don't believe that that is
Just get
fact.
out there and vote. Do your
Yep.
piece. If we
Mhm.
all do our piece, yeah.
Right.
That's
Don't
what
get distracted.
and I'm for those of y'all that have college age students, how are you getting your college age student home to vote? Do they need an absentee ballot? Do you need to go get them for
Exactly.
the weekend?
Mhm.
That very simple thing about making a plan so you
Mhm.
don't judge yourself harshly if you miss it, right? Make a
Right.
plan.
Mhm.
And the earlier the better. And I have
Mhm.
some friends that are like, okay, I only vote on election. Okay, we'll make a plan for that.
Mhm.
And I used to be that way, but what I realized is life is too unpredictable, and I need
Yep.
my vote to count. So I'm
Mhm.
going to vote, the sooner the better.
Mhm.
And the other thing is, if you're unsure of like who's on the ballot or who's voting, look around at your friends who are good at this. Like I have a friend that always calls me and said, "Okay, it's that time. Tell me what, give me your
Mhm.
opinion." I mean, they make their own decisions, but I give them my opinion. I tell them where I did my research.
Mhm.
And
See,
you've
I'm
got
that friend.
friends like that. You are that friend. Me too,
I
right?
am that friend. I'm
So
the one that looks people up and go, "Okay, y'all, this is the
absolutely.
difference between these candidates right here, and this is
Absolutely.
why I'm leaning for this one. This is why I'm gonna vote for
Right?
this one." And then people are like, "Oh, okay, where'd you find that?" And I'm showing them, "Here's the link. This is where I
Absolutely.
found it."
Here's the link. That's the same thing I do in my friend group. So, of those of us, the people that are listening, if you live in a different state than us, you've got somebody in your community that will do that for
Mhm.
you. Or
Mhm.
check out the League of Women Voters. They often do a very good nonpartisan job on listing out the issues and what the candidates believe in, so you can make your choices. But
And I
y'all, there's a
think
lot of serious stuff on the
is
ballot
it
this time.
is it Ballotpedia, I think, or there's some website out there where you can click to get, like, a look at your ballot and see what's on it, and then you can know who to look for.
Yes.
Because like, you don't know, because like, this year at first, I didn't even know, like, all the school board members or anything, and so I went to I think it was Ballotpedia and saw a sample ballot for my area, and then I knew who to research.
Yeah, in Georgia, we just go to the governor's site and
Mhm.
there's a voting, there's a link and you can check your registration, you can see a sample ballot for your county. You can do all it's mvpvoter.com, I think,
Okay,
or
we might
something
have
like
that
that.
here, but I don't think that's where I
Yeah.
found it. Mhm.
But Google it, y'all. It's worth
Yeah.
it to Google it, find your sample ballot for your county, and
Mhm.
go ahead of time so you feel good. Know that you can't take your phone into the polls, so write it down if you need to write it down if you don't
Mhm.
have a good memory, because even though a lot of us make notes on our phone, that's not allowed at the polling place. So,
Mhm.
so that's just, just know before you go, right?
Yeah. Right. Right.
So, that's it's that time of year, so we're gonna be talking
Yep.
about it.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Well, I actually think that's a good place to stop. Know before you go, do your research, and plan ahead so you're not judging yourself later for whatever happens. Because there's always
Right?
gonna be something that comes up, whether you have to work late or you could try to go before work and then the lines are too long or whatever. So, if you vote early, then you don't have to worry about all that.
I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you too. You wanna take another deep breath?
Oh, yeah.
I do.
It's Monday.
Alright,
It's
it's Monday.
Monday.
Alright, so I'm asking you to sit up straight. Woo, check in with your jaw, check in with your shoulders, relax your belly, close your eyes if you want to, and then take a deep breath in. And this time, let it go with a sigh and a shake. Whew. Get some movement in there. Whew. And let's do one more. Take a deep breath in
Hmm.
and let it go when you're ready. Okay. And I just want to thank y'all for watching today. And I hope that we've convinced you that it's okay not to judge yourself and it's okay to anticipate. If you're anticipating something, then get proactive and do something about it. All right.
Right, and check out innerally.com. That's,
Yes.
Dr. Phelps'
Dr.
website,
Phelps.
or you can
Mhm.
read her chapter, in her book, and oh, hey, you know the thing we need to say before we go, Cecile, is
What?
about next week, and invite
Oh,
everybody.
yeah.
Next week, we have the Women Connected in Wisdom Conference. It is a free conference. You can go to our website, womenconnectedwisdom.com, and register, or you can go straight to Eventbrite and say Women Connected in Wisdom Conference,
Mhm.
and it'll pop up. It's free. It starts next Tuesday. Cecile and
Mhm.
I are speaking.
Yes.
We have 16 other, actually, probably 18 other amazing speakers, because our
Mhm.
sponsors are also speaking, and an
Okay.
opportunity to get connected to yourself and others and really get rooted in the 8 dimensions of wellness, and
Yes.
check in with yourself before this holiday
Yeah.
season. Like, how you
Yes.
doing? How you doing?
Yeah. That check in before major events is so important.
Right?
So, yeah, it's
And a
free, y'all.
reset. It's a reset to get us through this last quarter, to get us through and celebrate, not just get us through, thrive. Like, how
Mhm,
do we thrive with ourselves and in community?
mhm.
And if we need to reset, reset. I feel like I need a reset. Like this morning, I'm like, "Woo, I need a reset. Reset."
Okay. Alright, friend. Thank you so much, and as always, I am sending y'all fierce love, and we'll see y'all next week.
Grateful.